Good evening. At the inception of Tomchei Shabbos Antwerp, the warm support and dedication of Rav Schiff the Motor de Asra and Rav Lieberman was unsurpassed. Tonight we have the great honor and privilege of having Rebbetzin Schiff speak to us about Tomchei Shabbos. Rebbetzin Schiff, who not only is the most caring and devoted person, but a woman with a warm heart and an open home to our entire community. Rebbetzin Schiff is a boreach min hakavod. She runs away from kavod. She is always the one sitting in the back of the room. She never wants to be in the limelight. She will always put somebody ahead of herself. I have to tell you, not only does Rebbetzin Schiff help many people with their problems and offer a lot of guidance to people, but Rebbetzin Schiff is always that warm, smiling face that you see at every single simcha. She will go out of her way not to miss somebody's simcha. Rebbetzin Schiff shows us what it is to care, what it is to feel for one another. Truly, v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. She has embraced us like a true mother. Thank you, Rebbetzin Schiff, for your support.
Guten Abend, Chusche Rebbetzins, Freunde Meidlich. Sie sind mal voll Achtung zu begrüßen. Bei der Zusammenkunft Nasa, Chusche Bezweck, Tomchei Shabbos. Ich will nur übergehen mal Grüß. Sie sind letztens ausgekommen zusammen auf verschiedene Plätze in der Welt. Es ist sehr interessant zu hören, die Blick, wo die Menschen von der alle Echte haben auf unsere teuren, herrliche Stadt Antwerpen. Die Klang ist, als ein Mensch, das ist in einem Platz, kennt nicht eigentlich die Scheinkeit von einem Platz. Nur ein Mensch, das kommt von der Fremd, also wie die Welt sucht. Ein Gast auf der Wahl, seht auf der Mal. Seht ihr alle Sachen, was ist so speziell bei uns in Antwerpen. Menschen suchen mir Geseider, der Achnusses auch, die warme Aufnahme zu jeder Fremde. Du nicht tut diese Sache, was man sieht, Mama schon ärgert sich. Man sieht, wie man lebt mit der Simcha, wie Menschen beteiligen sich, freuen sich mit einer, mit der zweiten. Also ist bei Kedaischen Shabbos, wie Männer, Frauen und Kinder, sie stromen auf die Gäste von Antwerpen. Also auch bei Chassanas, sie beklagen nicht gar kommen und gehen, nur Menschen freuen sich mit der ganzen Kraft. Die gewaltige Schiff wird aber der Beistand für unsere Stadt. Tomchei Shabbos gehört auch zu der warmen Atmosphäre von Antwerpen. Wie jeder an den Tag von der Zweite, wie jeder gibt da weg für sich, als bei jedem so sein geht. Also als jeder soll können sitzen bei seinem Schabbostisch mit Ruhigkeit, Friedenkeit zusammen mit den Kindern. Ich habe Shabbos gelernt, habe ich so gesagt, was die Passig verducht. Es ist gekümmert, sie Ratz dort Rebbe, Jesruh, der Leser auf Shabbos Chaneke gekümmert, Ayit achusset, und sieht mit der blechenden Menorah. Und fragt ihn, verwusst mit der Menorah, nicht mit der silbernen Menorah, sondern etwas Eiches. Hat gesagt, als, ja, es hat verzeihen, was ich gewinnt, ein Kind, wenn man hatte, die Brachaien, ist geworden, ein ganz Jahr vermascht in seine Sachen, Regen, seine alle Chafutzen mit gelebt, hat sie Duckert gegeben, alles hat gegeben. Es sind gekommen noch Sickers, und die Kinder umgehen mit sich der Menschen nach ihm, also man kann zurückkommen der Chaneke Menorah, sie werden auch so heilig bei einem Chaneke, also zurückkommen der Menorah auf Chaneke, der Zamseruf. In ein Jahr kommt es also eine Woche vor Chaneke, sie sehen, der Menorah ist nicht da. Der Gorlitzer Ruf hat gesucht von den Stiefmenschen, in der Jahr soll man sich zurückkaufen, also sich zurück bis Erev Chaneke, Mama ist noch zufrieden, soll es noch nicht geben. Sie kommen ab Pushu von Chaneke, sie bringen es daheim. Und es kommt uns in Chaneke legt, wir kommen nun und sie sehen, der Heilige Zamseruf sind mit seinem Puschete Blecherne von der kleinen Kind auf dem Menorah. Und der Gorlitzer Ruf fragt von seiner Tate, Summa, sind nicht bei die Genick heilig, die Jontef sind nicht so teuer, weil die Jontef zu tun erscheinen Menorah. Aber der Zamseruf hat gesagt, Kindmann, wie kommst du mich lernen, was ist der größte Witz, was ist größer? Ich reite mich schon für ein ziemliches Teuer, ein ganzes Gift ist im ganzen Rang in der Mitzvah auf Hanukkah, wusste nicht, die kleine belächelnde Menorah. Für mich, du sagst, es ist dieselbe Mitzvah bei mir. Der Ratsbert hat ausgerufen, der Tat hat auch gesagt auf der Menorah, es ist kusher, der Fahrzen der Hanukkah jeden Mal einmal in der Menorah. Du kann man sieht von der Masse, der Heilige Zanderruf, hat sich das sich so viel Ziegegreif, die die Jante auf Hanukkah, findet sich im Christeuer, gesucht mir die ganze Ramon Avu Eiverem in Suchu Gedirem. Das ist doch so gegreift, so von Meuer, die geöffnet, als wenn er so ein Heilig nicht genitzt sind, wenn man eure zusammen legt. Bezinnt mit Tablechen, wenn man alles, weil er gewiss, als die Iker Saranbring Lichtigkeit in jüdische Stieber. Instein du jetzt vor der heilige Jont auf Hanukkah, man geht uns in Hanukkah lecht, bei jüdische Stieber, die schönste Chuna zum Jont auf uns ist zu zünden und in Brenken heran Lichtigkeit bei jüdische Stieber. Hashem soll helfen, als in dem Schiff am Tag die Kinder aufgelochten werden mit allen Gitten. So soll anschauen in jüdische Herzen und Stieber alle Gitterbruches, man soll geholfen werden mit Buna, Chayam, Zoinai, in Arkegengang, Schiff, Zilkaine, Bemeiren und meine Omein. Ich will auch bedanken speziell Lea Schiff, wo sie nicht noch Erwähnungen von Shabbos, aber dafür auch Orthodox, zu Brüssel abholen einen. Der Iker, wo jede Tee sagt man nicht ein ganz Jahr, wenn man davon sagt man, zu Schiff, überhaupt nicht. Lea Schiff ist das, der ganze ich sage alle Jungen noch schon, wenn ich mir Lea Schiff, überall, auf alle Occasions sagt man die, so ein spezieller, der ganze Ofen zu organisieren, sie legt dran die ganze Kopf, die ganze Wochen lang, so sind sie auch Success in der Iker, so Takaran kommen, so sind auch Sluche, für die ganze Jahr, was man darf jede Woche oben auf dem Geld. Gibt nur für alle. Ich fahre halt nur mit den Filmen, etwas sich aufwärmen mit einem kurzen Gedanken. Wir stehen jetzt vor der Heilige Jont auf Hanukkah, das Hanukkah, wie jeder weiß, in Meluschen Chilach. Man geht nach Hanukkah. Man redet von Tomchei Shabbos, sie sagt auch von Tomchei Shabbos, und Shabbos ist auch die Zeit für Chilach. Weil wenn man ein Mensch Zeit nach Hanukkah zu sein, seine Kinder, nicht, wenn sie sitzt, ruhig, ohne Beoll, in den Geschäften, in dem Telefon, in der Doorbell, man sitzt zusammen alle beim Tisch, mit des Miers, mit den Diverteuren, mit verheerten Kindern, damit kann man auch mechanisch sein. Es ist alle bekannt, der Pusik, Oilom, Chesed, Yibone. Es sind zwei Pschute mit dem. Oilom, die Welt, wird geboren durch Chesed, weil einer davon dem Zweiten, aber Oilom geht auch auf der Mensch allein. Weil jeder Mensch ist eine Welt für sich. Ist Oilom, der Mensch, Yibone, wird geboren, Chesed, wenn tit Chesed. Das ist nicht du kann sagen, wo geht eine größere Satisfaction, ein größeres Zippuk für einen Mensch, wie wenn kann geben für jeden. Ich habe einmal gehabt, ein Roman, das sie gekommen zu meinem Tier. Ich bin nicht Rockefeller. Ich kann nicht geben, größere Sinnes. Aber ich trinke im Winter, sie mir da verwarmen, trinke sie mir da verkaufen, trinke. In der Provinz so eine Wortstadt haben wir Feister, die Buren, ist jetzt sie ein bisschen zu der Mitzvah finden. Wenn ich da weg, wir haben eine Scheuer, als sie dann gekommen, ihr hat uns eine Sache gewählt, in das, was ihr hat uns gegeben. Sagt ich meine, sie hat das tun. Ich bin der Nenner, in Isen der Geber, das ist ein Gebiet. Steht auf Benosni können wir doch leider in zwei Sachen. Ich bin der Nenner, in Isen der Geber, in Aschkoyer. Haben wir gesagt, warum sucht das was zurück ist in der Koyer? Wir können nicht wissen, wie viele Sachen, wir können solche Sachen, dort innen finden zu dürfen. Hat mir gesagt, Opa soll, ich habe jemand Bruch. Wäre ich schon kein Bruch. Einige Reize beginnen am Morgen. Dann will ich auch Menschen. Ihr sollt ständig sein, ein Nehmer,
also wie ihr seid jetzt, und nicht ein Geber, also wie ich bin. Ich habe eine große auf ihn deswegen sollen wir gedenken. Alle Menschen, die kommen zu Tomchei Shabbos, in seinen Nemmers, in seinem Gedenken, als sie das Schiff, sie können sagen, ein Partner in Tomchei Shabbos. Ich weiß nicht, wie das heißt, wenn Menschen sitzen in der Tinkel oder weinen, und sie kommen durch die Challah auf den Tisch. Aber darf sie machen freilich. Der eine von Kinder ist, oder Kinder sehen, als man schickt sie mit der Envelope, oder wenn man sucht, Geikkäufe bei Herrschrift, sie können was raus. Vergesst nicht, wenn du kaufst an, auch eine Karte für Tomchei Shabbos. Das ist der Kinder, was sehen, mehr Geld für Tomchei Shabbos. Oder? Man hat Gäste, wo sitzen wir am Tisch. Ist auch nicht. Ich habe gesagt, der alte Mann, der geweint gelebt hat, nicht, man am Koster Rapur, hier gedenkt noch. Das hat mich immer gewollt, da wollte ich aber genau gesucht. Spure da, aber nie machen, sie wollen was ich sicher, was ich zu haben. Oh, was soll, als ich kenne, schau ich in der Halle. Das hat die gemacht, als es gekommen. Der Mensch darf fühlen, als gibt mir ein Teufel. Das ist der Eufen, auf welcher wir darf. Das ist mit Gates. Josef Hatzadik hat doch gesagt, als alle Juden sollen zu essen. In Steig für morgen nach Rom, aber schickt Kinder noch Geldchanike, verwusste Urim les Sabbat alle Psuchim. So der morgen nach Rom, weil man will, ist der Mann, als leider in den Zahlen von der Jewonin, ist ungeschwacht geworden, der Ingen von Gemilles Chassonim. Ich sehe den, ist jetzt Tage der Zeit, 60 Staaten, in Tomchei Shabbos hat mich gekannt, aussehen, ein besserer Moment, wie jetzt, wenn man darf Mechaner sein, in sich Staaten, durch Tomchei Shabbos heranbringen, Lichtigkeit in die zerbrochenen Herzen für die jüdischen Menschen, die es kennen sich nicht erlauben. Der einzige Brief ins mit kolonien Sachen. Wir müssen nicht geprieft werden mit das, was wir kennen als Ursachen. Aber ins Sachen sehen, siehst zu machen, dann ist ja nicht verjähren. Ich habe endlich mit der Wolke noch gehört, sie mal am Tatze oder der Schule. Wir sind gesessen am Seider. Ich habe gesehen, als du steigt auch aufgeschrieben, früher, wenn wir sind reingekommen, kommt dich von Jesus, wie ich sage. Fragt sich die Kasche. Ich wollte schon die Ladens an, Gäste zum Seider, wenn du sitzt schon am Seider, du darfst es doch machen früher. Der ärmste Gäste, wo du willst kommen, darfst du Tage riefen früher. Aber die Seidernacht, bringt er wie Chanike, bringt er wie Shabbos, sind extra unten gewidmet für Kinder. Wir haben Kinder zu den Iker-Jesäudes. In einer von den Iker-Sachen ist auslernen das Kind, sei nicht kein Egoist, tracht nicht nur von dir, nur sie, also das Wissen, als jener Kind vor sich. Und das ist der Prinzip auch von Tomchei Shabbos. Und wir danken Tomchei Shabbos für die Tmiche, für die Stütze von der Geld, für so viel Urmelad, auf eine sehr scheine, diskrete Öffnung. Und ich bin sicher, dass Schiff hat Beistein, in der Karazan, der Geille, mit dem Hero, wie ihr meine kommen. Wir gehen noch so drei kleine Kapitel. Kief Ruf Aleph, Kief Lamed und Kief Membetz. Shir Lamaris, Eso Einan, El Hehorim, mit allen Jubei Ezri. Ezri meim Adonai, Oisei Shomayim V'Oretz. Al Yitin Lamoid Ragecho, Al Yonim Shomrecho. Hine Lo Yonim V'Lo Yishoim Shoymer Yisroel. Adonai Shomrecho, Adonai Tzilcho, Al Yad Yeminech. Yoimam Hashemesh Lo Yateko V'Yoreach V'Loilu. Adonai Yishmorcho Mikol Ro. Yishmor Es Nafshecho. Adonai Yishmor Tzeischo Yoyecho. Met Atu Ve'ad Oilo. Kief Lamed. Shir Hamalois Mimamakim Korosicho Adonai. Adonai Shimo Bekoili. Tiyeno Oznecho Kashivos Lekol Tachaninoi. Im Avoinos Tishmoyo Adonai Miyamoit. Ki Imcho Hasbicho Leman Tivore. Ki Visi Adonai Kivso Nafshi. Velidvoroi Oichalti. Nafshi L'Adonai Mishoimrim Lavoiker. Shoimrim Lavoiker. Yachel Yisroel El Adonai. Ki Im Adonai HaChesed. Veharvai Imoi Fedis. Vehi Yiftei Es Yisroel Mikol Avoinois. Kif Membes. Maskil le David. V'yoisoi v'amoro sefilo. Koili el Adonai Ezok. Koili el Adonai Eschanon. Eshpoich lefonov Sichi. Tzorosi lefonov Agi. Vehis'ativ olai Richi. Ve'atu yudatu lesibusi. Ve'oirach zi ahalech. Tom nifachli. Habeit yomini ei. Ve'eili machya. Ova monois mimeni. Ein doirish lenafshi. Zo akti elecho Adonai. Umarti. Atomachsi. Cheki be'eres hachayim. Hakshivu el rinosi. Ki da loisi me'oid. Hatzileini merotzvai. Ki omsi mimeni. Hoitzio mimazger nafshi. Lehoidois es shemecho. Bi yachtiri tzadikim. Ki sigmol oloi. Sozan pararefia für alle Heulen. Alle chasu chebonim sollen geholfen werden mit sehr schön Kayabo. Alle was darf, sie wiegen mit Grünen sollen geholfen werden mit Sibudim. Im Beikel soll da ihm helfen. Mashiach tekeni Yovoi wie die Goleini im Hayo Befehlmann.
So, welcome to our annual Tomchei Shabbos Women's event. Thank you for being here. I have been asked many times what inspired me to help build Tomchei Shabbos in this town. I have always smiled when I've been asked this question, and I've let the conversation turn and slide in another direction. It is not always easy to open our hearts, but I truly believe we must listen to our hearts. So now I'm going to tell you what inspired me. Some years ago, I made Baruch Hashem a simcha. After the davening, there was a beautiful kiddush to celebrate the simcha, and Baruch Hashem, so many people from the community came to wish Mazel Tov. At the end of the kiddush, I noticed that there were some women who came and gathered up the remaining food items, packaging them up in napkins and putting them into their pockets. I was shocked. I was stunned. I went over to the caterer and he said to me, Madame Schiff, this happens lately. I immediately told him to please package up whatever he could find and put it into proper containers and in a bekavodika way, please to distribute it to these women. I can tell you now, I could not concentrate on the rest of the simcha that day. I can't even use the word sad. I was so shaken to see that in this town of Antwerp, a town that I grew up to know as a town of abundance for Yidden and Parnasa Tova, Antwerp had always been the gem of Europe. If the USA was called the Golden Medina, Antwerp has always been the Diamante Medina. Antwerp truly sparkled. What happened? What happened to my town? Is it possible that families did not have food for Shabbos? Is it possible that mothers were gathering leftover food at Kedaishim? Yes, I realize this is the new reality of our town. Children are going hungry on Shabbos. How can I sit by and let this happen? I decided then and there, on that very Shabbos, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to open my eyes, and that it was truly my duty to do everything possible that I could do to alleviate the situation and to ensure that every family, every week, has a bakavadika, what we would call a normal Shabbos. That is why my goal this year that I have set for Tomchei Shabbos is feeling normal. What do I mean by feeling normal? A few months ago, I traveled to New York on a flight from Brussels. I had the schus to have the company of two very special women from the Antwerp community. We ended up sitting next to each other for a while. They were Rebbetzin Honig, the Rebbetzin of Dayan Honig, and in her own right, a very great woman, and Mrs. Betsy Meyer, one of the founders of Chai Lifeline Antwerp, an amazingly compassionate woman. Interestingly, while discussing the many wonderful aspects of our community, the Achdus, yes, look around at this room. We are all sitting together from all different backgrounds with the common goal of doing chesed. That is really Achdus, and Baruch Hashem, it is so heartwarming. But we, the three of us, also discussed the many sad situations and the difficulties that our community faces as a klal and as individuals. And while discussing the individual pain that permeates throughout our community, we found a common denominator. That common denominator is that all these people suffering want to feel normal. They want to have a normal day-to-day life. The only emotion and the only prayer that these people have for themselves and their families, whether sick or family problems or parnasa problems, is to feel like everyone else. Mothers and fathers want their children to be able to go to school and not feel differently than their friends. Children want to come home and see their mothers cooking relaxed in a kitchen and talking to them about their day in school. And fathers want to come home and be able to learn with their children with a peace of mind. That is what we interpret as normal, feeling normal. So therefore, my goal this year at Tomchei Shabbos Antwerp is to ensure that every single person, every single child in this town has food on their table for Shabbos. So let's start at the beginning, Bereshis, the beginning of when Shabbos was created. In Bereshis Parak Beis, Pasuk Beis, it says, Vayichal Elokim bayom hashvi'i, melachto asher asa, vayishbosh bayom hashvi'i. By the seventh day, Hashem completed his work that he had done, and he abstained on the seventh day. And in Shemos, Parak Chuf Pasuk Yud Aleph, it says, Ki sheishes yamim asa Hashem es hashamayim ve'es ha'aretz ve'es kol asher bam vayanach bayom hashvi. For in 6 days Hashem made the heavens and the earth, and the sea and all that is in it, and he rested on the seventh day. Why in one place does it say HaKadosh Baruch Hu finished creating the world on the 6th day, Ki sheishes yamim, and in another place it says, Vayichal Elokim bayom hashvi'i, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu completed his work on the 7th day? This is a very intense and tremendously strong question. One pasuk in the Torah says the world was created in 6 days, and another pasuk says in 7 days. We even see in the times of the Gemara, when Talmai, the Egyptian king, put the 72 Zakanim in separate houses, and he forced them to translate the Torah, each one of the 72 Zakanim, each one of them with Ruach HaKodesh, wrote Vayichal Elokim bayom hashishi instead of bayom hashvi, because they knew that the Goyim would interpret this as contradictory. But for us Yidden, there is a very clear and deep understanding. Beautifully and so importantly, the Medrash quoted in Rashi answers our question. The Medrash teaches us that Menucha was created on Shabbos. As Rashi says, after the 6 days of creation, everything in the world was created, but something was missing. And what was missing was Menucha. Bo Shabbos, bo Menucha. That means Vayichal Elokim bayom hashvi'i. By creating Shabbos, thus Menucha was created. The Sifsei Chachamim asks us, does the world really need Menucha to exist? Is Menucha really a creation that is necessary? And the Sifsei Chachamim answers beautifully, the world's existence is dependent on Torah and Avodas Hashem. So if there is no day without work where one can freely learn and be Oved HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the world would not be able to exist. A person needs menucha to continue to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu properly. The Orach Chaim goes further and says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world as continuous cycles of 6 days and then a Shabbos, 6 days and then a Shabbos, meaning that after every 6 days, the world needs and must have a Shabbos to sustain another cycle of 6 days. Otherwise, the Orach Chaim says the world will become chorev, destroyed. Every 6 days, the sun, the moon, and all the creation needs to follow with the Shabbos of Menucha, to refuel, to recharge, physically in Gashmias and spiritually in Ruchnias, which both come together on Shabbos. Shabbos is the highest level. We know that Shabbos is Me'in Olam Haba. What is higher than Me'in Olam Haba to us? We all know that we receive on Shabbos in the Shema Yisera. We are on the highest level of Ruchnias. And we clearly see Menucha is an all-encompassing factor. As we say in the Mincha davening, Menuchas Ava Nidava, Menuchas Emes Ve'emunah, Menuchas Shalom V'Shalva, Menuchas Shlema Sha'atzarot Zeba. The same way a world needs a Shabbos of Menucha, a day of recharging, a person in his Olam Katan needs a Shabbos of Menucha to recharge. Menucha of Shabbos gives a person the kayach to continue to survive to the next week. Shabbos is the cornerstone of everything in the week. And yes, we all have stresses, but at least we have Shabbos. Shabbos is truly our oasis. How many times have we said to ourselves, I wish it was Shabbos. I know myself, I have said many times, I wish Shabbos came twice in the week. But more importantly, Shabbos sustains the week. On Shabbos, we sit with our families together. One forgets the problems of the past week. One even forgets the problems of the coming week. One doesn't think of their tzaras. The mother wants to make Shabbos and be normal, like her neighbor or like her sister. The children want to come home to a happy Shabbos table where they can put their parsha sheets. The father wants to come home and see a Shabbos table where he knows his family can sit and sing zmiras and rejoice and smile. They will refuel and recharge together. So what Tomchei Shabbos does is so important. If you give a person a meal during the week, even the most lavish 4-course meal, you of course have done something very great. You have taken away his physical pain of hunger, a physical need. But by providing a person with food for complete Shabbos meals, you not only provided this family with the physical substance they need to survive, but the true ruchnias that they need to strengthen them and give them kayach for the week that's following. And here's why we are here tonight. It is in our hands as women to ensure that before we sit down to our own Shabbos meal, we did everything that we can so that every Yiddish neshama has a good Shabbos. Every child, every mother, every broken father in our town, in our community. How can I or you sit down to a Shabbos Suda and hear the words of the beautiful Zmiras, Menucha v'Simcha Ar LaYehudim, and not know that we did everything possible to make sure all Yiddish homes and families in our community have a warm, menuchadik, lechtiger, and happy Shabbos. Tomchei Shabbos of Antwerp provides every week food for hundreds of families. I know I'm repeating this information as I did last year and the year before, but unfortunately these figures have not lessened. Over 15,000 bottles of grape juice, over 14,000 chickens, over 5,500 kilos of fish, over 20,000 dozens of eggs are distributed to needy families throughout the year. Our weekly Shabbos budget is 10,000 euro. Look around this room. There must be over 500 seats. Imagine every chair in this room filled with a child. That is how many children's Shabbosim are being enhanced by Tomchei Shabbos. So please continue to support us. I'm going to change that. Please increase your support to us. The Medrash says that when a father makes Kiddush and says Vayichulu, he is a shittuf with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Masa Bereshis. Think of that when you're buying a voucher for grape juice. Tomchei Shabbos is the way in which you can be a shittuf with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Can you find a better shittuf? I can't. By giving to Tomchei Shabbos, you are bringing Bo Shabbos, Bo Menucha to families in our community that are so much in need. Help us help them. Thank you again, and thank you for coming tonight. We're going to be showing a very Shabbos Antwerp was founded out of a dire need to supply food for families in Antwerp that were literally starving on Shabbos. The organization was started at the home of Chaim Yitzchak and Esther Schwartz, wonderful people. Baruch Hashem, we have since moved into a warehouse where the packaging is being done on Wednesdays and deliveries are being done on Thursdays. Discretion is the utmost concern to us. Although the packaging is done by Yidden, the actual boxes are delivered by non-Jews, therefore ensuring privacy and discretion to the families receiving the boxes. Even the children in the home do not know that the boxes received at the door are from Tomchei Shabbos. Discretion and dignity is very, very important to us. Tomchei Shabbos is an organization that must be supported by every single person in this community. How can I or you sit down to a Shabbos Suda knowing there are other people that cannot do this?
Mit ein paar Jahren zurück, Tomchei Shabbos hat mitgefühlt das Loch in Stutt, das Loch in die jüdische Kehille. Wie mehr und mehr Mischpuches zählen ökonomische und finanzielle Probleme sind in Not für die meist elementären Sachen, also wie Essen. In Tomchei Shabbos hat probiert zu überzeugen, hat sich zusammengenommen, zu überzeugen, als die Aufleisung zu dem Loch liegt auch in der Keshenes von der Kehille. Tomchei Shabbos hat überzeugt Menschen von allen Kreisen, als sie können helfen, Mischpuches von allen Kreisen. Tomchei Shabbos stellt sie Essen. Essen ist Leben und macht satt, physisch. Aber sie stellen das Sinn als offen, als nicht nur sie wird satt, physisch, aber der Shabbos wird der Shabbos und der Jonte wird der Jonte, wo so seine fundamentale Bedürfnisse in der jüdischen Stieb, die Atmosphäre von Shabbos, der Chinuch von Shabbos, in sie haben Pushet Matzlier gewähnt, sie hatten zwei Fliegen in einen Klapp.
Tomchei Shabbos knows what Hashem wants, and knows how to honor Shabbos, and knows how to properly honor Hashem Yisbarach. Tomchei Shabbos sees to it that all of Hashem's children should sit around the Shabbos table, laden with the most delicious food, and sing Zmiras, and thank Hashem that there is someone out there caring for them, thinking about them, and making sure they have a beautiful Shabbos. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu acknowledges it, as this is exactly what he had in mind when he ordered to be Mechabed Shabbos. He will send to each and every one of us who helps this organization Shefa, Brucha v'Hatzlocha, all the Yeshiyas that each individual needs, and of course the big Yeshia that all of Klal Yisrael is waiting for, Bias HaMashiach b'Mhairu b'Yomayim.
גדולה הכנסת אורחים יויסר מקבולס פנאי השכינה. Wenn wir nehmen auf Gäste bei uns in Stieb, ist es noch größer wie Kabules Pnei Haschchine. Gäste sind Menschen, die haben nicht wie anzustehen oder wie zu essen. Gäste können noch sein Menschen, die haben nicht mit Wuss und für Wuss zu machen seine Shabbos. Tomchei Shabbos ist sicher befrinas Yoiser mekabules pnai hashchine. In so wie der Eibischte sagt sie, Banai, lavu alai, wa ani poraya. Ist du auch a Tatsch? Jetzt könnt's mich bitte borgen, in geben von Menschen, was haben es nötig, für Shabbos, ani poraya. Ich will eng zurückzullen, bekäfel Keflein, weil Shabbos ist Mekor Habruche. In Tomchei Shabbos ist sicher der Bronn für Bruche von jeder jüdischen Stieb. Sicher da in Antwerpen.
Das
ist der Karte von Tomchei Shabbos.
ist der Tombola.
Die Tombola, sie haben jetzt gemacht, dass sie normal können abkaufen eine Karte. Jetzt so hat sie extra gemacht, eine Tombola. Also ihr nehmt eine normale Karte, da kommt hier verdoppelte. Die bekommt 1, die geht daran die Geuren.
Ich hätte noch gerne 20.
20. Jetzt bekommt ihr. Nächste Woche Angola, nicht gleich da ran. Und du nimmst sie auch trecken sie ein.
Also das ist eine Nummer?
Ja, 45, 20 bitte. Ja, was ist das?
Das ist Karte von Tomchei Shabbos. Kannst geben 2, 5, 10 oder 20.
Und nachdem, was geschieht?
Ich gehe halb nimmst die, halb geht heran in die Dose, ich sage einfach, geht der Zwecken.
Okay, so sind wir
2, ja. Das können es.
Ich glaube, dass Hand mit Tomchei Shabbos hat ungeheben, Sachmenschen geholfen. Zu Menschen, die es schwer zu bezahlen, und zu Menschen, die sie ein bisschen leichter, aber es ist nicht so viel. Man kommt daran im Geschäft, man geht eine Karte, man kann geben für 2 Euro, man kann geben für 5 Euro, man kann geben für 10 Euro oder 20 Euro. Es ist nicht keine große Sache, aber Ende des Monats sammelt sich ein sehr Schein, ein sehr Sache. Ich meine, es ist eine große Hilfe für die Stadt, es ist eine scheine Sache, was man macht, die Sache ist in der Stadt.
I've been working now as a secretary for over 3 years by Tomchei Shabbos, and I'm so proud to be part of this wonderful organization. And why is that? Because these organizations put so much effort, so much strength, endless time, hard work to achieve one goal, one purpose, that people in our town shouldn't go hungry, that people should have food on the Shabbos table. And this is just so impressive. So help us to make this cause even better. Help us support Tomchei Shabbos, and you can make a difference.
So please, before the buffet, just wait for the tombola. It is a true honor to welcome Rebbetzin Slavy Wolf to Antwerp for the very first time. We are ever so grateful that you are here. Klal Yisrael suffered an irreplaceable loss at the Patira of her mother, Rebbetzin Esther Youngrice. Rebbetzin Youngrice, Alav Shalom, was a leader, an icon. She was the teacher of Torah to millions of Jews from all backgrounds of Yiddishkeit. Chazal tells us, B'rav kara da'avua, a child is a legacy of his parent. Slavy, you are this legacy. Rebbetzin Slavy Youngrice Wolf, a world-renowned scholar, an inspirational leader, a balas chesed who has given chizuk to thousands of women, famous lecturer and author of Raising a Child with Soul. We cherish your words of wisdom and we welcome you with open, warm hearts.
Thank you so much. It really is such a privilege for me to be here with you tonight, my first time in Antwerp, and what a beautiful, beautiful community you are. You deserve applause. Coming up the elevator, I was told that there was a little bit of concern for the weather and the turnout, and indeed it was a miracle. So already you have brought the miracle of Hanukkah to the world tonight, so I thank you so much. We women are stretched. Wherever I go, where I speak all over the world, I meet incredible women, and I hear about stress, and I hear about pressure. And how do we deal with that? I don't know if you realize, but when you're on a flight, most of us tune out the flight attendant, but they give a little bit of good advice for life, and that is that if chas v'shalom, if God forbid, there's an emergency, and the oxygen mask comes down, if you are with dependents, if you are with a child on your lap or next to you, the first thing that you need to do is you need to take the oxygen on yourself, because if you don't have oxygen, then you can't help anybody else. That is such an incredible truth for life. If we don't have that oxygen, if we don't have the spiritual oxygen, the emotional oxygen, how can we possibly help anybody else? So from where do we gain that chizuk? From where do we gain the strength? How are we able to help those who are dependent on us? First, we must feed our own souls, our own neshamas, our own hearts. From where should we get that strength? As I said before, women are completely stretched today. I meet women who have children in many different countries, and parents in another country. And then you have a husband who needs you, and einikoch, and grandchildren who need you, and what about yourself? Somebody said to me, forget about the sandwich generation, I'm the panini generation. I can't breathe. A young bubby said to me that somehow she's driving her own grandchildren to school every day. How does she do that carpool? She doesn't even know. And every Shabbos, her grandchildren end up sleeping in her room when her children come. So the other week, her oldest granddaughter said, Bubby, it's getting very crowded in here. I think we need bunk beds. How do we do it? Every Leil Shabbos, every Friday night, women all over the world say a beautiful tefillah. Ribono shel olam, master of this universe. Zakeni legadel banim uvnei vanim. Help me, Hashem. Give me the zachos to raise children and children's children. But at the end of that tefillah, we say something incredible. We ask Hashem, Shelo yichte nereinu li'olam va'ed, that our light, our flame should never be extinguished forever. How's that possible? My light, my flame should never be extinguished forever and ever? Is that really possible? That after 120, my light should still be here in this world? How can we make that happen? B'zechus Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. In the zechus of our imahos. You see, you and I, we have within us a spiritual DNA. Our imahos, our mothers, our bubbies have given us a DNA, spiritual gifts, kayach, so that we can then have the strength to get through anything. Because their challenges became our challenges. Our imahos made a derech for us, they made a path for us. Nothing is impossible. Tonight, I would like to discuss with you, to give over to you. Each of our imahos gave us a gift. You and I, we have these gifts. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. What are the gifts that they gave us? How can we survive? How can we give these gifts and this kayach to our children and our children's children? Shelo yichte nereinu, that our light should never ever go out. What is it that we can do? So we begin with Mama Sarah, Sari Imeinu. When Sari Imeinu left this world, the Chumash tells us, the Pasuk tells us, that she was 127 years, Vayiyu Chayei Sarah. And Rashi says something incredible. All her years, Kulan Shavin Latova, all of her years were good. Really? Really? Sari Imeinu? All her years were good? Sari Imeinu had so many challenges. Sari Imeinu had such a difficult life. Lech lecha. First she had to pick up and go. Where? She didn't know. Could you imagine coming home and being told by a husband, we're leaving. Where are we going? I don't know, but we're going. And then finally she goes, and there's a famine in the land in Eretz Canaan, and she has to pick up again. Could you imagine? But she never lost her emunah. And then she couldn't have children. She couldn't conceive. And all of the women would come to Sari Imeinu and say, Mama Sarah, Sari Imeinu, teach us, show us how we should raise our children. Teach us how to bench Shabbos Lech. Teach us how we should raise children with Torah. Teach us how we should raise children with emunah, with faith. Don't you think that every time another woman would come with her stroller and her baby carriage, there was a pang in her heart? What about me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What about me? But she continued to teach, to touch neshamas. She continued to have emunah, to have faith. And finally, she conceives, and she has a child, and then she has to have a whole discussion about Yishmael to send him out, and how difficult that was for her. Kulan Shavin Latova, all of her years were good. And we know that they were good because Sari Imeinu had tremendous bracha in her ohel, in her home. Her Shabbos licht were lit from one week to the next. Do you know what that means? It means that her home, her ohel, was filled with light. Did you ever go into a home and feel, this is a home that is just filled with light, filled with peace. I don't want to leave here. I feel so good here. There's simcha here, there's joy. It's a good feeling here. That was the ohel of Sari Imeinu. What was her secret? How did she do it? Look at the second bracha of Sari Imeinu. Sari Imeinu's dough was fresh from one week to the next. Do you know what that means? That her isa, her challah was fresh. It means that she always looked at her dough, at her portion, at her challah, and she said, thank you, Hashem. She never looked at somebody else's dough, somebody else's portion. We make a terrible mistake in life. We look at everybody else's bracha, and we say, if only I had children like that, I'd also be very happy. If only I'd always go on vacation like them, I'd also be relaxed. If I had a kitchen like her, I'd also have 25 people for a Shabbos meal. And we don't get to see our own bracha. We're so busy looking at everybody else's bracha, we lose out on our own. So Sari Imeinu was always able to see the bracha of her isa, of her dough. And because of that, she brought simcha and light into her ohel, into her tent, into her life. And she made every day count. Because she was always able, at the end of the day, to say, how did I make this world a better place? I had the most beautiful father. My father was 6'2". He was never sick a day in his life. I never heard my father complain. He always had a smile on his face. When you would meet my father, he would introduce himself and he would say, I am the husband of Rebbetzin Yagreis. Our children called my father not Zaidi, Abba Zayda. because he was not only a Zaidi, he was like an Abba. When I would come home with a baby from the hospital, my father would be there right away, and he would say to me, "You go lay down. I'm going to take the baby." And all our babies would be called shoulder babies because they would go on my father's shoulder, and he would sing to them, and he would put them to sleep. And then suddenly, within 9 weeks, my beautiful father left us. And we were all so shell-shocked and sad. And I remember one day going home to my house, and it was time for me to clean out my closet. My mother was in the kitchen. She was sad. And I went into my room, and I went into my closet, and my father had a collection of papers from where he would save things that he would speak about. And on the top of the pile of his papers, at that moment, I found a message from my father that we had never seen before. I read it. I read it once. I read it twice. I read it again. And then I went into the kitchen and I said, "Ima, Abba left us a message." And my mother looked at me and I said, "Look at this. A long life is not good enough, but a good life is long enough." A long life is not good enough, but a good life is long enough. Shekulan shavin l'taiva. And my mother looked at me and she said, "Nichamti, you have comforted me." Sari Menu gave you and I that koyach to be able to make a difference in this world. No matter how stressed, no matter the challenge, no matter the obstacle, no matter how difficult, kulan shavin l'taiva, to always know that we, women, have the ability, have the koyach, have the energy, have the strength to bring good into this world, to touch hearts, to make a difference. Sorry, Imenu. And then we come to Rivka Imenu. What was the gift of Rivka Imenu? I'll tell you. When I was growing up, my mother had a very favorite saying, and that was, "Hafochba, hafochba, dekulaba." Turn the pages, turn the pages. Everything is in the Torah. You want to know about sibling rivalry? You want to know about discipline? You want to know about marriage? You want to know about life? Everything is in the Torah. You don't have to go to any self-help books because they always change anyway. The Torah is immutable, never changes. The Chacham is forever. So if you want to know about life, just open up and open up your hearts. And this is how we grew up. Rivka Imenu. What was the gift that Rivka Imenu gave us? We all know how Eliezer came to look for a shidduch for Yitzchak. And he decided that he would make a siman, he'd make a sign. Whoever has chesed, this will be the shidduch for Yitzchak. And finally he finds Rivka. It's a perfect shidduch. And Rivka's father agrees, and Rivka's brother agrees, and Rivka's mother agrees. And they say, "You know what? Let her go." And just as Rivka is about to join and go with Eliezer, guess what happens? The pasuk tells us, and I want to give you the lashon so you can hear it. Vayomer achia v'ima teishev hanara yitanu yamima u'asar achar telech. You know what? Maybe she should stay a little bit longer. Let her stay for a month, let her stay 10 months, and the whole deal starts to unravel. And Eliezer says, "What do you mean? A word is a word, a word is a word. How can you say this?" But they're going back and forth, back and forth. And so, in the pasuk it says, Vayomru, and they say, Nikru lanara v'nishal espia. Let's ask her. Vayikru l'Rivka vayomru ela, and they say to her, Hatelchi im ha'ish hazeh? Really? You want to go with this guy? And in 1 second, Rivka Imenu creates a spiritual gene that is with us until today. Vatomer, and she says, Elech, I will go. Boom. In that second, an incredible spiritual gene was born that we have until today. Elech, I will go. How many women throughout the centuries go to places we never have imagined in our minds, in our hearts, that we can possibly go? We go emotionally, we go physically. We never give up, we never give up hope. We get up and we say, Baruch Ata Hashem hanosei laya'ev koach. Hashem, please give me koach. Hanosei laya'ev koach. Not ayev, because ayev means I'm tired physically. Ya'ev means Ribono Shel Olam, Master of this universe. I am so tired spiritually, emotionally. I don't know how to do this anymore. I need you to help me. But one more page of Tehillim, one more kapitel of Tehillim, and I don't give up. Tell any mother, tell any bubby, no, give it up. You are telling me to give up on this child? On this Einigal? On this parent? On Am Yisrael? Never. Elech, I am going to go. I have the zechus of having my mother's Tehillim. The pages are frayed from her tears. Elech, we keep on going, and we keep on davening, and we keep on asking, and we never give up. Lo yichbeh balayla neira, our lights will never go out. Because Rivka Imenu was the first one to say, Elech, I am going to go. And women for thousands and thousands of years continue to go. And we never give up. And that is the gift that we have. We never give up. In my community, one Thursday night, I was in my supermarket. So this was now the 3rd time in the day that I was in my supermarket. And I was tired. And the supermarket was packed. It was 9 o'clock at night. You couldn't move. And I couldn't find a carriage. So I'm standing there on line and I'm trying to balance, more meat, more fish, more sauce, and everything's kind of falling out of my arms. And there's a little girl in front of me with her mother. And she looks at me and she says, "That must be very difficult for you." And I say, "Yes. Don't you want a carriage?" And I say to this little girl, "I would love a carriage, but I don't see it anymore." And she says, "There's so many, but they're all the way at the other end of the store. Would you like me to get one for you?" And I say, "That would be so nice of you. Let's ask your mommy." So she turns to her mother and she says, "Mommy, is it okay if I get this lady a carriage from the other side of the store?" And her mother says, "Sure." This little girl goes on her way. And I turn to her mother and I say, "What a special little girl you have." "You don't know the half of it," her mother says. This year, this little girl was diagnosed. Did you notice her legs? I said, "No." Every step is very painful for her. She's wearing braces on her legs. In just a few moments, this little girl starts to come back, and now I see she's walking very slowly. Every step is painful, but her smile is huge. And she brings me the carriage, and I put my things in, and I say, "What's your name?" And she says to me, "My name is Tzipori." "Tzipori," I say. "I speak all over the world. And I speak about parenting. There are mothers and bubbies who daven for a little girl just like you. You should be gebenched." Elech, we have this koyach, this insurmountable koyach, that we think we are exhausted. A child comes to you in the middle of the night and says, "Mommy, Bobby, can you talk to me? We're so tired, so tired." But we open up our hearts and we open up our ears and we open up our neshamas because that is the koyach of Elech. I will never abandon you. The last lecture that my dear mother ever gave was on a Pesach 2 years ago. We were together for Pesach in a hotel. Nobody really knew how ill my mother was, but she was in a wheelchair. And she did speak. It was on Antwerp. We wheeled my mother to the front. Slowly, very slowly, my mother stood up to speak. She didn't have the koyach, but she insisted. I never heard my mother speak for so short a time, but with such love and so much meaning. My mother gave over the speech of her life, the story of her life, in just a few moments. She said, "I want to leave you with my signature story. If anyone in this audience ever met my mother or heard her speak, for sure you know this. But for kavod of my mother, I'd like to relay it to you so that we know where we've come from, because when we know where we've come from, we know where we're going. And that's the importance of shorish and roots. It gives us chizuk." The winds of war were blowing over Europe. My Zayda, my mother's father, my mama, my grandmother, my mother's mother, decided that they're going to go one last time to Nadadvar in Hungary to see the Zayda and Bubba. The Zayda Yisrael and the Bubba, the Rebbetzin Slavachana, for whom I was named. My mother was just a little girl. She remembers going in the snow, going into her Zayda's study, sitting on his lap. He had a hot cup of tea with a little sugar cube, she remembers. He opened up his Sfarim. He started to sing as he would learn. And then she looked up, and her Zaydi was crying, and she became frightened. So my mother, just a little girl, ran out, and she found her father, and she said, Tati, why is Zaydi crying? I never saw Zaydi cry before." And so my Zaydi, my mother's father, said, "Put on your coat, lichtikind. We're going to go for a walk in the snow." Together the two went outside. My Zaydi went first, and he said, "You walk behind me." My mother walked behind, and after a few moments, her father stopped. He turned to her and said, "Lichtikind, my precious light, do you know why I'm walking before you?" And my mother said, "Of course, Tati, because the snow is so deep and you want to make footsteps for me." "Ah," Zaydi said, "now you know why your Zaydi is crying? Because, Lichtikind, we are going to come to a time where the snow is going to be very, very deep. And you will be frightened, and you will fall, but then you will stand up, because you had footsteps to walk into. You had Zaydis and Bubbies who came before you, who davened for you, who cried for you, who learned for you, who made a derech for you. And you walk in their derech." My mother concluded her speech, and she said, "In my life, the snow has been very deep. I have fallen many times, and I'm back in the snow now. But I have a derech. and never forget my words. We all have that derech. Lech. We have the koyach to go and to walk and to keep on going. Because we have the shorish, we have the roots of our avos and imahos. And that's Rivka Imeinu. Leah Imeinu. What was the gift that Leah Imeinu gave us until today? When Leah Imeinu had her son Yehuda, she said these famous words, Hapam Odeh LaHashem. This time, I will say Toda, I will say thank you and have gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This time, I'm going to rejoice in being the one who gave life. This time, I will live with an attitude of gratitude. When we create homes, this attitude of gratitude is the spiritual foundation on which every home stands. Do you know when you find simcha and joy in life? All over the world there are books written on finding happiness. Everyone's looking for happiness. Where do you find happiness? When you have hakaras hatov, when you have gratitude, when you live with an attitude of gratitude, when you see the bracha in your life, of course you become happy because you're grateful. But we have it all wrong. And we think that the more we give to our children, the more they're going to be happy. And so we keep giving and buying and getting, but they're never happy. What our children need is less presence, less gifts, and more presence in a child's life, to be there for a child. We forget what it means to just have hakaras hatov, to have family, to have mishpacha. When I was a little girl, every Matzah Shabbos, the same thing would happen. The cousins would get together, and my Zaidi, my beautiful Zaidi, with his long white beard and his hadras panim, he would give a clap, and we would all be quiet. And then the same thing would happen. My Zaidi would cry, and he would say, Baruch atah Hashem, shehecheyanu, v'kiyimanu, v'higiyanu, lazman hazeh. I remember growing up and thinking, my goodness, why is my Zaidi crying? It's just cousins getting together. What's there to cry? But I'll tell you the truth, my friends. Now that I am Baruch Hashem, a bubby, myself, a mommy myself, I understand my Zaidi's tears. How time goes. You want so much to hold on to time. Just yesterday they were a baby, and today this one is in this place, and this one is in that place, and you want so much to hold on. Did I ever think, did I ever imagine for a moment that my children would walk under the chuppah, and my father and my mother's place would be empty? What I would not give for one more bracha, for one more hug, for one more kiss, for one more word, for one more time to just hold a hand, for one more bracha at the Shabbos table. Time together as a mishpacha is so precious, and we don't appreciate, we've stopped appreciating. And we run here and we run there, and we buy here and we buy this. But you know what we really need? Hakaras hatov, to appreciate the mishpacha, the time that we have together. Haneros halalu kodeshim, ve'ein lanu rishus lehishtamish bahem el lirosam bilvad. But we need just to look at them sometimes, just to see sometimes what it is that we have, and we forget. And it's in front of our eyes. Thank you. It's in front of our eyes, and we forget what we have. We don't realize what we have. And we think if we just do this or just go there. My daughter lived in Eretz Yisrael for 10 years. She just moved back to America now. And as the bubby who would go visit, I would always try to make my visits very special. So one time I decided to come with something that would really get the children excited. I decided to bring a huge play kitchen set from America to Eretz Yisrael. And I come and I'm in the airport and people stop you. Whoa, Eiza Davarza, what are you bringing? Whoa, Eiza Safta, what a grandmother you are, until I find a taxi driver who agrees to take it, and he's schwitzing and he's tying and tying and tying to the roof. And we're driving very slow from the airport to Yerushalayim, and the whole thing is bouncing, but I'm so excited. Because the children are going to be so happy with this huge kitchen set I bring from America. And we finally arrive, and I see the whole building is out on the Mirpeset, waiting. And I show them, and it's so exciting. I can't even fit it in the elevator. I need 3 people to carry this kitchen set up. And we bring the box into the apartment, and my son-in-law helps and opens and batteries and stickers and putting things together. And at the end of all that time, my grandchildren say, "Bobby, this is a great box that you brought to us. Do you think we could play hide and go seek in this? And can we color it?" And I said to him, "But what about the kitchen set?" They said, "No, that's good, but what about the box?" And I learned something, that it's not the things. You know what our kinderlich need? They need us. They need our presence. To have hakaras hatov for the people in our lives. To wake up every morning and to say, "Moda ani." The truth is, we should say, "Ani modeh." I am grateful. What do you mean, "Moda ani"? Grateful am I? Because the first word out of our mouths should never be "ani," I. It should always be modeh, attitude of gratitude. But we live in a generation of selfies, where we take pictures of ourselves, which is amazing if you think about it. When you were a little girl growing up, did you ever think of taking a picture of yourself? When you take pictures of yourself, the lens is focused only on ourselves. And we forget how to see the people around us, how to be sensitive, how to have empathy, how to have compassion. Hapam Odel Hashem means that I am so grateful for everything you've given me, Hashem, for the family that I have, for the people in my life. That now I must put the lens on everybody else and feel, what does everybody else feel? Do we do that? When I was growing up, and my father was Rav, and my mother Rebbitzin, I'll never forget. Somebody called and said that there was a child who was in an accident. And my mother sat us down and told us we need to say Tehillim. And there was company over. And the guest said, "Now really, Rebbitzin, this is too much for these children. Soon she's going to cry." I will always remember my mother's response. With tremendous conviction, my mother said, "Some children cry for chocolate. Other children cry for toys and licorice. My children are going to cry for the pain of another. My children are going to cry for the pain of Am Yisrael." And that's the question. Are we able to help our children cry for the pain of the others? To feel for another. But it starts when we are grateful. Hapam Odel Hashem. This time I will feel gratitude. This time I will delight. This time I will have joy because I am surrounded by so much by the people of my life. And then we come to Rachel Imeinu. Rachel Mevaka Banecha. The words speak to us so beautifully. I want to share with you. Rachel Imeinu, when she leaves this world, Yaakov Avinu felt pain. And for so many years, he was carrying the pain in his heart. So Yaakov Avinu is on his deathbed. And the Pasuk tells us how he calls to Yosef and Menashe and Ephraim. And he says to Yosef, I need to speak to you. I need to tell you something, because there's been something that has been sitting on my heart and not giving me peace for years and years and years. And listen to the words of Yaakov Avinu. Va'ani bevoi mipada mesa alai Rachel be'eretz Canaan bederech be'od kivras eretz lavo evrasa. Do you understand? Your mother, I was with her. Mesa alai. She died on me. Do you not think that all these years I wanted your mother, Rachel, to be buried together with Sarah, Rivka, and Leah? Do you not think that all these years I felt terrible? We need to have this conversation, because I don't want you to ever wonder, why not my mother? Why not Rachel? Why was she set apart from everyone? Mesa alai, she died on me. But you know then what happened? Ve'ekbar Rashon b'derech Efrat hu hi beis Lechem. I buried her, your mother, in Beis Lechem. There was a divine plan over here. It's not because I wanted your mother to be different. It's because there would come a day that your children, my children, our grandchildren would see behind them the flames of Yerushalayim, and the Beis HaMikdash is burning, and they don't know what will be, what will be. What will happen to us? What will happen to Am Yisrael? This never happened to us before. And they're going to be so frightened. And they're going to be taken out of chains from Yerushalayim, and then they see Beis Lechem. And they see your mother, and they see Kever Rachel. Kol b'rama nishma, voices heard up high. Mini kolech mi bechi. Cease your weeping, wipe your tears. It's Rachel. V'vaka abaneha. Rachel is crying for her children. Don't cry. Mini kolech mi bechi. Cease your weeping, wipe your tears. Why? Because there is reward for your crying. And the Biala Rebbe asks something incredible. Reward? Where's the reward of Rachel Imenu? She's crying and crying and crying, and her children are taken away. Ribono Shalom, I'm crying now. I need the Yeshua now. I need the Shidduch now. I need the Refuah now. I need you to help my child now. I need you to help my mother and my father now. Everyone has somebody that they are carrying a tefillah for, that they cry for, that keeps them up at night. Everyone has a pain in their heart. Ribono Shalom, now! I need the tefillah now. What do you mean, yesh schar lefulatech? So the Biala Rebbe says that we are a nation of miracles. There is no way that we can survive the galus without the tears, without tefillahs of Rachel Imenu and all the women who have come after her. Never doubt for one moment that your tefillah does not have an address. Every tefillah has a destination. And we are here today only because of the tears and the tefillahs of all the women like Rachel Imenu and the women who have come after. That is our spiritual DNA. And those tefillahs are so powerful. Especially when we ben shlecht. Shari Shemayim, the gates of Shemayim are open then. Rav lach sheves be'emek habacha. Enough that you've sat in the valley of tears. I heard something so beautiful. Rav lach Shabbos. Your Shabbos is so beautiful. Be'emek habacha, when you are in Galus in the valley of tears. Women, don't stop crying. Women, don't stop davening. Because it's your tears more than anyone else's tears that is going to bring the Geula. You and I, we are sisters. I arrived here this morning. I really didn't know anybody, but I feel as if I've met family. Everyone here has been so kind and so nice. I think I have to go on a diet when I leave because I've never eaten so much in one day. The graciousness, the hospitality, the language of the heart. Why is that? Because we're sisters. Because we're the daughters of Rachel Imeinu. Because we share tefillas. We share pain, we share simcha, we share joy. Your pain is my pain. Your joy is my joy. It doesn't matter where you come from. We share the same tehillah. It all comes from our neshamas from inside. It all comes from Rachel Imeinu. So never doubt. Of course you have reward. My full name is Slava Chana. I was named for my Baba. Each of us siblings were named for somebody that either my father or my mother or my grandparents lost in the Milchama. We were always given this identity and this mission to know that we are here in this world to make a difference for those who left Al Kiddush Hashem. My father's mother was Chaya Sarah. My father would tell us how one night there was a knock at the door and his older brother Yosef Dov was taken. His mother, my Bubby, the Rebbetzin Chaya Sarah, that night sat on her couch and she took out her tehillah and she cried and she cried and she cried. And the next night the same. And then on the next night my father said, he said, Mama, go to bed. Go to sleep. You can't do this every night. And my Bubby, the Rebbetzin Chaya Sarah said, I should go to sleep when I don't know where my Yosef Dov is? If he's hungry, if he's freezing, if he's alive, if he's safe, I will not stop davening. And I have no doubt that until today, I am here, and my siblings are here, and my family is here only because of the tears and the tefillas and the tehillim of my Bubby. That is the power of our tefillah, because we are the daughters of Rachel Imeinu, and that never leaves. So of course we can never be tired. Hanosei layoif koach. We ask Hashem to give us that gevura, to inject us with that strength. But you and I must know that we must never give up hope, because we have that koach of tefillah. And we turn the pages and we say the kapitel again and again and again. So I want to leave you with this final thought, my friends, and then a tefillah. When I was finishing the last pages of my book, Raising a Childless Soul, just then my phone rang, and it was my son-in-law from Yerushalayim. Mazel tov, Mommy. Shady had a little girl. That was, Baruch Hashem, my first granddaughter to be born. And what a feeling it is to see the next generation come. I wanted to cry. And I took the next plane to Yerushalayim. And I was remembering on that plane ride how when my daughter Shady was born, I had brought her to see my Bubby, Mama. And when I placed her in Mama's arms, Mama looked at me and she said, Shena Meidela. There were times in my life that I never believed that I would see the sun shine again. Hashem is so good. Hodu Lashem Ki Tov, Ki Liolam Chazda. Could I ever have imagined that I'd be holding a great-grandchild in my arms? I was remembering. And then I reach my daughter's apartment, and she opens the door, and she places the little baby in my arms, And she says to me, "Mommy, don't you want to know her name?" I say, "Tell me, Shendela, what's her name?" "Miriam for Mama, for my grandmother." And that night, I slept in the baby's room, and the golden sunlight of Yerushalayim came through the cracks of the window shades. 5 o'clock in the morning, the baby began to cry. I took her in my arms, and I said, "Mama, look at this. Here I am in Yerushalayim, and I'm holding a baby named for you, Mama. From Churban to Yerushalayim. It's a miracle. We are a nation of miracles, and we must always remember that it is our koach of tefillah, of hakaras hatov, of saying elech, of making each day count. This is the koach of Nashim Tzidkanios. So we began today by speaking about Hanose Layav Koach. I want to end my evening here with you, Nashim Tzidkanios of Antwerp, with a tefillah. And my tefillah is, Ana, Bekoach Gedulas Yamincha, Tatir Tzrura, Kabel Rinas Amcha, Savenu Taharenu Nora, Shavasenu Kabel Ribona Shalom. Please accept all our tefillahs. Ushema Tzakasenu Yodea Ta'alumos, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuso Li'olam Va'ed. I thank you so much.
They asked me to say a few words. Thank you for coming in such a terrible weather. Kol hakavod. And now we go over for the tombola.
Okay, we're going to start with the tombolas, so please take your ticket. And I'm going to start with the €2. The best prize is, the wonderful prize, one entrance for the Tomchei Shabbos dinner, 14th of March. And this is number 2850 from a 2. Has somebody got it? From a voucher of 2, tombola ticket of 2,850, and you get a free entrance to the Tomchei Shabbos dinner the 14th of March. Somebody? Okay, next number. A manicure by Nails Design. Also the vouchers of 2,930. Somebody? 2,930, a voucher of 2. Okay. Next one. Elrod, a treatment and a brushing. Also a voucher of 2,630. Nobody? Somebody? Continue. Another one, elbow treatment and brushing. Thank you. Also a voucher of 2,922. 2,922. Okay. By Coiffeur Mario for men. Can give it to your husband. 2,924. Also a voucher of 2. Okay. Next one. A €50 bond by 13th Avenue. Also voucher of 2,550. 2,550. Okay. Continue. Next one. A bond by Scholi for €50. 2,916. Okay. By Meromel, you can get a nice friteuse. 2,517.
And then Achen Achachobes for this number 2, a free entrance to our Tomchei Shabbos. 2,101. 2,101. Okay, probably the people are not here. We are putting the prices inside, and then we're going to write them again in the copiers, and then you can come and fetch them by them. We're going to continue with the number 5. Okay, Meubelare, a bond from €100. 5,964, 5, voucher 5. Who is yes? Said yes? No, okay, continuing. By Bravemans also, a bond from €100, very good for your dry clean. A voucher 5, 6,418. 6,418. Key? Who? Oh, very good. I'm putting it here on the side, you can come fetch it. Okay, a bond by Milmeat for €100. 5,442. Nobody? Okay. By Dickstein, 12 trays of eggs. Good thing. You don't have to take it straight away. They're going to deliver you every single week another tray. 5,961. €5. Okay? Putting it here, and we're going to continue the next one. Okay, now we're going with the €10. The best price is a free entrance for Tomchei Shabbos. From the €10, 1,702. Okay? Somebody? Somebody? I can see somebody? Okay. Next one, by Ari Kosher wine. For €150, you can buy nice wines. Okay. Also from 10, 1,466. Continue. Key. Ah, oh, very nice. Okay. What did you say? Very nice. Okay, the next one. We're going by Gross Center for €150. Very practical present. Also a voucher from 10, 1,467. Somebody? Somebody has got it? No? Okay. Hoffice, a bond of €200. 1,454. Voucher of 10. Okay. And now we're going to the 20, and then I'm going to let you eat. Okay, 2 free entrances for Tomchei Shabbos. The bonds of 20 now. 4,977. Okay. Next one. Flight tickets by Titzamos, a bond for €350. 4,954. 4,954. Somebody? Ah, okay. I'm putting it all here. Next one. By Magalim, you can have a nice holidays for 2 people for 3 days. Also voucher 20, 4,982.
Somebody wants a holiday, so you have to have the number 4,982. Dan bij Merkas Svorim, a bond of €250. Also voucher of 20, 4,574. 4,574. Then, Hershkovitz Katz, a bond of €250. With the vouchers of 20, 4,742. And Achron Achrochoviv, two beautiful presents. First, a beautiful ring with diamonds from the shop Beaulieu. 4,916. Qui? Who? Viens là. Come. Here. Out of the ring. And then a stunning present. A beautiful necklace from the shop Bello, worth €1,000. And this is a voucher of 20, 4,745. 4,745. Okay, thank you for your patience and enjoy the meeting. The other people can come in the front to redeem their presents.